Morning, guys. There is only one absolute certainty in this universe, and you have it. It's the ability to control the power of your mind. Every day when I work with my students, we work on controlling the power of our minds through our breathing. This one simple act, this one simple thing that you can do in any moment, take control of your breathing, to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, for example. That's something that you can do, which demonstrate that's the only thing that's certain in this world. So when we look at our outside world, and get ready, life's going to come at you today like it does every day. Things are going to happen that don't go your way. Understand that same power that controls your breathing, you can control your response in any situation. So try that today. Anything that comes to you, you control it. Demonstrate your absolute certain power. Have a great day, everybody.
So for our audience, can you define what exactly is manifesting?
Manifesting is acquiring the experience of what it is that you want to feel and being and living and believing in that experience, and then allowing that experience to come into form. Manifesting is very creative. It is the process of using your power energy and being in that presence of your high powered energy and allowing that energy to co-create with the energy that's around you. So you're vibrating at a high frequency. I'm vibrating at a high frequency.
Girl.
We've done a lot of work. We've
Yep.
cleaned up a lot of our own crap. We
Yep.
believe in ourselves today.
Yep.
And that energy of believing in ourselves has attracted us together today and brought us into this space where we together are co-creating and teaching. If I hadn't cleaned up my side of the street, and if I didn't believe in myself the way I do, I would never have manifested being on Marie TV. There's a really nice line from A Course in Miracles, which is the metaphysical text I teach. And it is, miracles occur naturally, and when they're not occurring, something has gone wrong.
That's interesting.
It's a good one, right? So what happens is that synchronicity, that flow, that effortless action, that just sort of allowing, oh, I was thinking about that and it just showed up. That's how life is supposed to be. We get in the way. Our negative belief systems, our fears, our anxiety, our anger towards the past, that future tripping and projecting, all of that energy gets in the way of allowing all of the miracles to occur naturally.
I used to struggle a lot with manifesting, just the idea of it. I would watch videos on it and I didn't understand what they were saying. I just didn't understand it. where there's manifesting a lot of attractions. Like, what are they saying? I don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth. And I would rewind it and watch again. It's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand. And it seemed weird, silly, not good enough for me to just sit on a couch and think about money coming into your wallet or whatever it was that you're trying to manifest. You got to go do something. That in law of attraction, action is at the end of attraction. Like, you got to go off and do the work. If that's been you, if you've been kind of struggling with manifesting or law of attraction, you don't know how it makes sense, you rewind videos and it feels too woo-woo for you, let me explain it from a different perspective, and maybe it'll help. At least this is what's helped me. The first thing that I realized is very scientific, is from the reticular activating systems. It's part of your brain that decides what to pay attention to and what to not pay attention to. There are so many things that are happening right now all around you that you are not paying attention to. Most things your brain filters out. The job of the reticular activating system, you can go look it up, RAS, is to filter out most things and only filter in the things that you should care about. So for example, what color are your socks today? What color is your underwear today? Looking down this street, and I didn't know that there was a pine tree here. What are you paying attention to as you look out the window? You're looking at the tree, you're looking at the sign here, you're looking at the driveway, you're looking at the color of the sky, you're looking at the house, you look at what material that might be. You're not looking at anything because it's too blurry. You're still looking at my face, you're looking at my car, you're looking at the color of the headrest, you're looking at my outfit. Like, what are you paying attention to? Most things you're ignoring, because there's no possible way to pay attention to everything. Pay attention to the dog. Tristana. Hello. Good girl. Right? We're ignoring most things because it wouldn't serve you. It's just impossible. It'd be information overload. If you feel like you're overloaded already, just imagine if you took in absolutely everything. So your eyes are bringing it in and your brain is filtering out most of it. So what does your brain actually pay attention to? Well, the reticular activating system will choose to say, okay, you've set an intention, right? I want to pay attention to X. And now all of a sudden, you're going to see that more often. I just bought a house. So in that process, we started paying attention a lot more to houses. So one of the things I noticed was the for sale sign here, where I may have not noticed that as much in the past, but because I'm thinking house, boom, now I'm paying attention to the for sale sign. You ever notice when you buy a car, you start seeing that car everywhere, right? Or even thinking about buying a car, you're thinking about buying an X, you start seeing it on the street more often. Why? That's your reticular activating system. Basically saying, I want to pay attention to those things. So that car was still around, right? I mean, I got this car, we've got a Porsche, and now I see Porsches more often. Those Porsches still existed. They were already there. I just didn't notice them before, and now I notice them because I have one, right? So whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you're setting an intention toward, it's not just sit on your couch and meditate and imagine money coming into your wallet, or a new car, or a new house, or business growth, or you speaking on stage, or whatever your goals are, right? It's not just sitting on it and visualizing it, but it's noticing it and the elements of it in your environment. That when you start thinking about it, right? We are what we consistently think about. When you start thinking about it, you'll start seeing opportunities around you that were already there. You just filtered it out because you didn't see how it connected. Now your brain's starting to make those connections. Does that make sense? Reticular activating system. You're ignoring most things, but when you set intention on the thing that matters to you, you'll start seeing it in your environment and opportunities for that to happen a lot more often. So that's step number one, reticular activating system. It's the science. Number two is to trust your intuition more. One of the things that really helped me back early on in my career was I judged myself too harshly for the ideas that I came up with. And as soon as I came up with an idea, I was like, oh, you can't do that. Or I had to have the perfect plan before I would ever take any kind of action on it. And, just later realized that you can never plan all the way out. There's no way, if you wait till you have the perfect plan, by the time you start actually executing, the plan is dead. It's over. And so you have to trust in your ideas. And so the thing that really helped me is I believe that great ideas flow through me. Believe that great ideas flow through you. This is how you shortcut your brain that's designed to keep you safe. That's how you shortcut the brain out of the equation. You came up with an idea. As long as you're in a positive state of mind, you're trying to serve, right? It's not, I want to go, you're in a jealous rage or you're angry. Don't trust your ideas then. But when you're positive and optimistic and bold and courageous and an idea comes to you, trust that that's the right idea for you. Just trust that it's the right idea and then go do something about it. Where normally what we do is we overthink and we overplan and we overprepare, and then we lose the momentum, and then the next day or the next week or the next month, it's gone, it's over. It's like, oh, I can't do that. No, that was actually a great idea for you. And it's happened enough to me where those things have worked out, where I come up with an idea and it doesn't make any sense logically, but I just decide to listen to it and do something on it, and it leads to something amazing. The amount of times that that's happened is pretty overwhelming. And so when you have enough repetition, for me, I had to see it. I had to see it enough times come up, because I wouldn't just believe it on faith. I had to see it happen enough times. And you could test it yourself. What idea is in your head? What big idea that you want to do? Even a small idea. What's flowing through your head when you're in a positive state? Put on a happy song, move around a little bit, and then notice your thoughts and where it's going and what you want to create or who you want to reach out to, what you want to do. Like what thought comes to mind after you're moving around and having some positive energy. That's probably the right thing for you. And just test it out by doing something about it. And maybe that's a business idea. Maybe that's an email you need to send. Maybe that's a friend you need to reach out to. Maybe that's an act of kindness that you need to do. Whatever the thing is that pops into your mind, trust those ideas. And you could be a scientist. Like I like data and I like science and I like proving things. Maybe I'm a skeptic, I don't know. But in running those experiments, I proved to myself that, yeah, great ideas do flow through me. And so the next time I have a great idea, I'm going to go and take action on it. So number one, reticular activating system. It's already in your environment. You're just ignoring it. But if you put attention towards it, you start seeing it. Like you notice a new car. When you buy your new car, you see that car everywhere. And then number two is trust that good ideas flow through you. Number three is the one that I'm working on, that I'm having the hardest time with, and I believe it, and I'm in the process of getting better at it, is when you're thinking about creating something, to talk to yourself in the present moment. And this is something that a lot of the manifestation, a lot of attraction people talk about, but also people like Grant Cardone talk about it. That it's not just the people who you'd associate with it, but other people who've had a lot of success, where you're talking about whatever thing is that you want, that it's already happened, that it's not going to happen in the future, but that it's already happened. If your goal is to speak on stage, then you're visualizing and you're telling yourself, I am on stage. I am speaking to a million people, or that's a giant stadium. I am speaking to 70,000 people. I am the author of a best-selling book. I am, like, whatever your goal is. And what I think the point of that is yes, one, to see yourself accomplishing big things. Two, to not have it be so far away that it lets you off the hook for taking action. But I think most importantly is for you to feel what it feels like to be that. And the more you feel like it feels like to be that, the more it actually becomes true. If your goal is to speak on stage in front of 5,000 people, and you actually feel like you're doing it, you can visualize yourself being on stage and doing it. The goal, I think, I'm still working through this, so 1 and 2 I've got down. 3 is my progress and my journey, so sharing with you. If you feel like you're doing it, if you are on stage and there's 5,000 people clapping for you and cheering you, you just gave the best speech, of your life so far, and you feel what it feels like to walk off that stage, and what a gift that you gave people, that the more comfortable you get with that feeling, the more it's going to be you, and the more that's going to show up. Does that make sense? So whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish, whoever it is that you're trying to be, whatever your big goals are, that you imagine yourself already having done it. and this is probably not something that I would tell other people, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm a speaker in front of 70,000 people. Because I haven't spoken at a stadium that big. But to yourself, at least, to say it, to see it, to feel it, to do it. If you're trying to heal yourself, like, okay, I am healthy. Yeah, but look, I've got a belly, or I've got a, you know, whatever. Like, I am healthy. I am healthy. And visualizing yourself being healthy, because you want the feeling of what it feels like to be healthy. And the more you feel like you are healthy and you capture that feeling, the more frequently you're in there, the more likely it's going to show up. So that's probably not the most articulate way to share it, and I'm still working my way through it as well. So as I keep getting better and keep learning, I'll keep sharing with you. But I used to think like manifestation, law of attraction was way out there stuff that I judged and that I didn't understand and that didn't make any sense. Like, just go off and take action, guys. And with time and experience and exposure and practice, using the reticular activating system to notice things around me, by trusting that great ideas flow through me and following through and building momentum, and by talking to myself in the present moment as if I am that person that I want to become, so I can capture that feeling and know what it feels like to be that person. I've shifted and seen some pretty amazing results in my life and business, and I hope it can work for you too. Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Good morning, guys. Today, top 10 rules for success. We are introduced to Robert Kiyosaki, and he is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a bestseller and an awesome book. I highly recommend it. And his advice today that stuck out for me on the first page is what focus means to him. Focus means following one course of action until it's done. It sounds so simple. It's the essence of determination, my core, my one word. And I believe our one word deep down inside. We have that ability to follow one course of action until it's done. So think about how you can apply that today in anything that you're trying to achieve. Follow one course of action until it's done. That's true focus. Maybe it's a situation where you just simply control your response, your focused response, to make sure that you don't respond negatively. Have a great day, everybody.
How are you using your mind today to either make yourself feel great or not? I posted on Instagram this morning. I said, listen, your destiny is ultimately controlled by a decision you already made this morning. Everyone watching this already made a decision this morning. This morning, they made it a life-changing, huge decision this morning. And that is either I'm gonna get up, enter the world with no intention, go through the motions to hopefully get by or survive, or I am going to get clear in this morning about what I want, what I'm going after, who I'm going to be, how I'm going to serve, and whether or not I'm going to be excellent and extraordinary or not. And the problem is most people never make that conscious decision. So I was learning early on, make the conscious decision about who you want to be each day, stay congruent with that. And that was, for me, a kid who was just going through the motions, all of a sudden going, oh, who do I want to be? What do I want my relationships to be like? That was really important. And then I started setting personal challenges every month. At the beginning of each month, I do this whole thing where I holistically evaluate my life on the first of every month. And it's like these 10 different categories of my life, from emotional to relational to financial to, career, mission, objectives, all these things. I go down that on the first of the month, just kind of holistic viewpoint of my life. And then I set a personal challenge and a professional challenge. And I do that every month. Every Sunday, I revisit my progress. Every Sunday for 23 years. So it's not like I'm just, one day ended up in a happy life. It was like that a level of self-evaluation that most people avoid until their birthday or New Year's. I do it every Sunday and every first of the month, and I don't ever miss. And I think that has helped me kind of know what my thing is.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know you've got something more inside you. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best believed life and learn the habits that can change your life. Enjoy. Habit number 2, create positive patterns with Tony Robbins.
I'll give you 3 patterns real fast so you can check yourself out for a moment. So one pattern is of focus. Do you tend to focus more on what you have or what's missing? I'm asking your listeners right now, and you, what do you tend to focus on? What you have or what's missing?
What I have.
What you have, great. When I ask this in a room, usually about 70% are focused on what's missing. Most achievers are focused on what's missing so they can go out and achieve more, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But when you stack these patterns together, it's really hard to be happy when you're constantly focused on what's missing. There's a time when what's missing, so you go to work, but if you do it all the time, you can be achieving a ton, like some of these billionaires, and they're still noticing what's missing, and so they're not happy. Another pattern would be, do you tend to focus on what you can control or what you can't control?
For me, can.
Yeah, and I know that's true with you.
Yeah.
The majority of people is what they can't control. Right. Now, if you focus on what's missing all the time and what you can't control, you're going to be depressed. I don't care if you take Prozac or Zoloft or anything else. Your depression is not a Zoloft deficiency. It is the fact that you were doing something in your mind that is producing that depression. And if you constantly focus on what's missing and what you can't control, and let's add a third one, do you tend to focus more on things in the past, the present, or the future? I know you do all 3. We all do all 3, but which one for you would you say you spend more of your time on? Past, present, or future?
Well, my old self would say the past and the future. Now, after going to One World Academy, I'm very present and future.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, there's no right or wrong, but
right.
the past, you can't do anything about it. So the more you focus there, unless you're learning something from it, it's pretty much a waste. The present is where the joy is. The future is how you do business, right? So you anticipate. So it's the ability to do this. But if you have someone whose pattern is focus on what's missing, focus on what I can't control, focus on the past, you can give them, I've seen it, and I've dealt with people like that who are suicidal. I come in, they got every drug, they're taking every antidepressant, and they're still depressed. In fact, I'll ask in audiences all the time, how many of you know somebody who takes antidepressants and is still depressed? 90% of the room will raise their hand.
I know people.
You know people? I'm sure the people at home do. Well, why are they still depressed if they're taking antidepressant? Because all the antidepressant does is numb you. But they're still focusing what's missing. They're still focused on what they can't control. They're still focused on past or present that's not the way they wanted to be, or making up a future that's scary. Well, you're going to be depressed no matter what unless you take control of those factors.
Habit number 3, identify accurate thinking with Dr. Daniel Amen.
Whenever you feel sad or mad or nervous or out of control, write out what you're thinking. And then it's 5 questions, but is it true? Is it absolutely true? With 100% certainty. Right. And that's the one that usually cracks it. It's like, worthless. Is it absolutely true? Now you're getting thoughtful. It's like, well, I'm a mother, and I'm a sister, and I'm a daughter. And no, it's not absolutely true. It's ridiculous. The third question is, how do I feel when I believe I'm worthless? Dead. Withering, sad, lonely. And the fourth question is, who would I be without the thought, or how would I feel if I didn't have the thought? The most common answer to that one is free. And then you flip it around to the opposite. It's like, I am worth something, or I have worth. And then give me an example. or 2 or 3 or 4. And you have to do that exercise at least 100 times to begin to retrain your automatic response. I mean, I've been teaching people to kill ants for a long time, automatic negative thoughts, but I just found these 5 questions, they're just so elegant to just have a dialogue with yourself. I'll never be successful, or I won't have enough money, or my life has no meaning. It's like, well, let's put that under a microscope. Not positive thinking, accurate thinking.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Habit number 4, practice forgiveness with Dean Graziosi.
I think forgiveness is one of those things that no one would ever consider as being a success habit, nevertheless a millionaire success habit. What the hell does forgiveness have to do with it? It's too foo-foo. I want the tactical money-making stuff, right? I want to get to the nitty-gritty, but here's what I know. There's only a certain amount of time in a day. There's only a certain amount of energy in a day. And not even just time and energy, the clarity of creative thinking compared to the clarity of busy thinking. Listen, you might have time, you're squeezing it in to think about your bigger future, your bigger business, making more money. But if you don't have clarity in those thoughts, if your heart isn't open, then the universe, God, whatever you believe in, the marketing geniuses, the marketing inspiration doesn't funnel down into the top of your head and come out of your mouth. And without marketing and creativity, then what do you have? Without the planning to follow through, without the stamina to get over the hurdles when goes sideways, what do you have? You have a good idea. Everybody's got a good idea. You're listening to me right now, not just because you want some magic money machine. You want the foundation for wealth and sustainability and success. If I'm wrong, then I apologize. Maybe you're looking for the quick hit, but how long does that work? Even people who hit the lotto go broke on average, right? So what the heck does forgiveness have to do with success? Everything. I think forgiveness is one of the most underutilized, not just words, but things in our world, in our ability to grow as a human. I want to give you an example. The reason this is on top of my head is my son, who just 2 nights ago when I'm recording this, won the state championship for their 10-year-old division of baseball, which was so awesome. So watching him, he did great. They did awesome. But I want to back up. My son has been on the same team since he was 4 years old, the same coach. Love this guy. He's one of the greatest guys. His wife is amazing. He's amazing. Loves kids. And they play twice a year, so they pretty much play all year round. He coaches the All-Star team too, so he plays spring ball, fall ball, and summer All-Star. So he's pretty much with this guy all year round. And he's got a son named Dean, same name as me. And I love Dean. I always tease him. I said, that's my name. I had it first. You're Bob. So when I get there, he's always like, no, you're Bob. But in the last 6 months, Dean's changed. Dean has been mean. He's been a bully. And especially to my son, Brody. And I think it's a competitive thing. Dean is good, Brody's better. Brody's bats first Brody's 9 on the 10, 11-year-old team. And he still bats first, probably the best average on base of anybody on the team. Not because he's my son, he's just good. He's small, but he's good and he's a hustler. But in the last 6 months, Dean has been really tough on Brody. So I don't want to just solve this for my son. I want him to figure it out on his own. So I keep saying, hey, you got to stand up for yourself. I say, hey, how does that make you feel? Make sure you realize that that's his opinion. That's not who you are. Like all the stuff fundamentally out of the book, doing it right, trying to empower my son because I'm not going to always be there to protect him, right? Well, the last All-Star game, as we were building up to we had the semifinals, my son gets up, goes 4 for 4. In the dugout, Dean comes up to my son because Dean is sitting. There's only one person sitting. My son is smaller than him. My son is younger than him, and his dad is the coach, and he's sitting the bench. He comes up to my son. He says, "You suck at hitting, and you're dumb." And my son said, "You're dumb for saying that." I asked him exactly what he said. And Dean smacked my son in the face. Well, Brody comes out of, my son's Brody. Brody comes out of the dugout with a tear in his eye and his face red. I said, "What happened?" He said, "Dean just smacked me." And listen, if you're a parent, you know exactly what happened. The hair on the back of my neck stood up and I wanted to go kick a 10-year-old's ass. I just be honest. Like, I wanted to go in there and choke him and say, "Did you lay a hand on my son?" I did walk up to him and I said, I wanted to know if it was, I said, "Did you just hit my son?" And he didn't say that. I said, "Did you just hit my son?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." I said, "Go apologize to him." That's all I said. I went up and talked to his mom. I was furious. I was shaking on the inside because I know what my emotions want to do. I knew it was right. So why am I telling you this whole story? Well, how does it relate to you? I promise you it does. So I went home that night and I was so mad, so upset. But I had the chance to teach a lesson to Brody. And I hated the feeling I had. I was mad at Mike, who's the greatest guy in the world, the greatest dad. His son's going through something. Somebody's probably picking on Dean. And we found out that's true. So I emailed Mike. I said, "Mike, you're a great coach. We love your family, but it's unacceptable that your son put his hand on my son. It's been 6 months. I've been trying to get Brody to stand up for himself. Brody will play the All-Star game and then we're out. We're done." Mike replied back as the good man he is and said, "I'm embarrassed as a coach and I failed as a father. I should have seen this. I should have known. I wish I knew sooner." And he dug in and he got it. So why am I telling you? Because that night I sat with my son and I didn't like the way it felt to have anger. I didn't like the way it felt to be mad. And I said, "Buddy, the greatest word I know, I wish I knew it sooner, is forgiveness. Dean's been a good kid. Mike's an amazing dad. What if we just forgave them? What if we gave them a second chance? What if you want to forgive them, I'd like you to stay on the team, but it's totally up to you." He goes, "No, Mike's been good to me. I want to stay on the team. Let's forgive them." Kind of paraphrasing our conversation. So I email Mike. We go back to the practice. Mike, the coach, walks up to me with his head down, literally with a tear in his eye. And he said, "Your son," and I'm not saying this because my boy, but he said, my son's the sweetest boy you've ever met in your life. Sweet voice. He's not aggressive. He might not make it in high school baseball because he's so not aggressive. He's sweet. He's just kind." And Mike says to me, "I'm not just saying this. Your son is my favorite kid I've coached in 10 years. Your son is the reason I coach. I love that kid. My son writes the coach thank you notes. That's my son. He busts my chops sometimes, but he's amazing to everybody else." So Mike comes up and I said, "Mike, how about this? It's past. It's behind us. Hopefully Dean can learn from it. We appreciate everything you've done. And we really love you guys. Thank you. And let's move on from here. Let's get to practice." And he had a tear in his eye. And he was like, I don't understand. If that was my son and someone did that to my son, I couldn't even look at me. I'd want to fight me. He's like, I wish I could let go of things like that." He goes, he pulled his hat off because I'm probably bald because I worry about all the stuff people have done to me. I said, "I promise you, I'm not just saying that. That's our family. We're done. Forgiveness has happened." Brody goes out. I could cry. Now I could have tears in my eyes. Brody goes out and grabs Dean and says, "Hey, let's play catch." I look out, these two, Dean is so sorry that he's out there playing with Brody, saying, "Good catch, Brody. I'm so awesome, Brody. I can't wait to watch you hit today, Brody. You're going to crush it today, Brody." My son was smiling from ear to ear. Mike wipes the tears from his eyes, shakes my hand. He's like, "You're a good man. You're a good man." I'm like, "I'm not a good man. Just something simple. Forgiveness." It's gone for me. It's gone for my son. He learned the lesson of a lifetime. My dad couldn't have forgiveness. My dad, his father abused him. He took advantage of him. His family abused him, so he never forgave anybody, and he lived with anger his whole life. That's probably why I'm the opposite. So how does that relate to you? Why am I doing this training on forgiveness? Because if you have somebody in your life who took advantage of you, I'm sorry. Someone who cheated, stole from you, lied to you, ruined something, ruined a partnership, caused you to go bankrupt, caused you to lose a job. It sucks, but guess what? If you haven't forgiven them, it's only hurting you because there's only so much time, effort, and energy in a day. And if you're using that even with a fraction of what went wrong, why they did it, whose fault it is, then you don't have enough to compete in today's world. This is a competitive world. You need all your energy, all your juices, all your focus, all your enthusiasm focused on where you want to go, not something somebody did to you. You can't undo it. So you might as well forgive. That's hard for a lot of you because some of you are thinking some pretty horrific things right now. You got to forgive them too. Doesn't mean you have to forget. Doesn't mean you have to go be their best friend. But forgiveness will set you free. Forgiveness will take you to the next level of life, abundance, joy, and wealth. Listen, you listen to me not to get the magic money machine. I love teaching people how to make money with real estate and other ways. But if you don't go upstream and fix this, it's unsustainable, if that's even a word. So that's my message for today. Forgive.
Habit number 5, plan out your goals with James Clear.
I consider myself to be someone who's very ambitious, and I like setting big goals and all the things that you're talking about. But I think the key is you sort of need to oscillate between these two mindsets. And when you're planning, sure, think big. But when it's time for progress, you need to think small and scale it down to kind of that first step. So it doesn't mean that you can't get to become the type of person who does 100 push-ups a day. It's just that that's not where we're starting. We're starting with one.
Okay.
And I think the question you can ask yourself, I mean, the first question is always, what am I optimizing for? So, like people select very different goals depending on what they're optimizing for. Some people are optimizing for money or relationships or free time. There are many different things, but that's a very personal choice. And then within that, what is the exciting and ambitious thing I'm trying to do? And I think that the question to ask is, who's the type of person that could achieve that goal? Who's the type of person I want to become? What is the identity that I'm trying to reinforce? And so I like doing one push-up. No, it may not transform your body, but it does reinforce the identity of, I'm the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. And ultimately your habits are a way to embody your identity. It's a way to reinforce or cast a vote for a certain type of story. And every action you take is like a vote for the type of person you want to become. And so doing these small habits, they seem like relatively insignificant in the moment, but they're casting votes for your desired identity. They're building up evidence of that story. And ultimately, once you believe that about yourself, man, it's a lot easier to keep going and to maintain progress and to eventually reach that more ambitious outcome.
Habit number 6, be courageous with Mel Robbins.
I say that confidence is the willingness to try. That's all that it is. Knowing that you may succeed or survive, but you'll still try. And to me, all those people that we admire most, that's what they're doing. They have the ability to tune into those instincts that are true for them. Because the fact is, there's only one you. That's it. And you matter because there's only one you, and there's only ever going to be one you. And your instincts and your experiences and your inner wisdom is a gift to the world. And every time that you tune it out because of the habit of hesitating or the habit of self-doubt or the habit of worrying or the habit of overthinking, you are robbing the world of that gift that you have to give to everybody. And you can use this simple, stupid, silly tool to train yourself to not only hear it, but also to develop the skill of courage to act on it.
And habit number 7, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is get your diet right with Tom Bilyeu.
All right, everybody. One of the most important things that you are ever going to do in your routine is to get your diet right. I think that this, outside of having a loving relationship with my wife, I think my diet is the most important thing that I do. And focusing on loving relationships, diet, and sleep, like those are gonna be your top 3 things. So getting your food right is critically important because this is the easiest way for me to anchor people around why diet is so important. So first of all, you literally are what you eat. Literally, at a cellular level, you are made of the things that you consume. So every cell in your body is from something that you ate. So let that one sink in. And then on top of that, the largest nerve in your body, known as the vagus nerve, 85% of the signals traveling on that nerve are from your body to your brain, not your brain to your body. So we all have this illusion that we are this consciousness that controls everything, when in reality, the two work in concert, and that the vast majority of the signaling is coming from the body. So your microbiome is a huge thing. And when you dysregulate your microbiome by eating things that cause disruption, then you're now getting all these signals that your brain is forced to interpret. Okay, this is one of the, read Lisa Feldman Barrett's book, How Emotions Are Made. All of the things that you feel whether it's happiness, sad, anger, frustration, hopelessness, all of that stuff, is your brain interpreting the signals that it's getting from your body, from the outside world. And once you understand that emotions come from the body first, and then your brain goes, hey, the last time that I got these sensations from all over my body, what did that mean? And then your body your brain, assigns a story to that feeling. And now all of a sudden, when you have a dysregulated microbiome and the microbiome is crying out for this, that, or the other, all of a sudden your brain adds a story. And I'll give you an easy one, anxiety. In my own life, I will tell you that I've struggled profoundly with anxiety, only to at first think this is entirely in my head, and then finally to realize, no, this is largely, how largely? This is again a hypothesis, but I have a gut instinct that anxiety is probably 90% your diet, and then 10% what you're thinking about. Meaning, what you think about is stepping on the gas. But if there's no gas in the gas tank, then you're not gonna go anywhere. And by dysregulating your microbiome through the things that you eat, you put gas in the gas tank of anxiety, and then your thoughts step on it, boom, there's plenty of gas, and now you're off to the races. So I'm not saying that your thoughts aren't important or what's going on in your life isn't important to triggering anxiety. I'm saying it won't escalate the way that it does if you are eating a diet that keeps your gut flora nice and happy. So that's something I think a lot about.
Good morning, everyone. Living, laughing, and loving our way to infinite mind wealth. Today I'm going to share with you a moment that I watched on a video where Les Brown described what will happen when we start to try to take control of our minds and follow our dreams. And he goes on to say, and only the way Les Brown can do, and I highly recommend look him up. He's the best at demonstrating infinite mind wealth and then laughing with it and having a good time with it. And he goes on to describe a situation where he refers to us going after our dreams. And he says, get ready, because when you go after your dreams, things are going to happen. Things are going to happen that don't go your way. And when I heard this the first time, it made me laugh. He says, life is going to knock you down. It's going to throw you to the canvas. It's going to slam you down, and it's going to hold you by the throat and say, you got a dream? And then you're going to say, I ain't got no dream. No, I ain't got no dream. Because the fear will kick in. Don't let that fear kick in. Remember Les Brown and laugh our way there. Have a great day, everybody.
You guys that are just getting started, you're not going to start right here. You're going to start down there, okay? Probably in another city, another town. I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, no money, raised by a single mother. I was in debt at 25 years old. The first thing that I had to do in my life was not learn a new skill. First thing I had to do to get my life moving in the right direction was self-development. It was vital for me that I improve myself and I could start depending upon me. I had to show up every day with some rituals, some disciplines, and start getting myself to trust me. Not trust others, but trust myself to do the right thing every day. One of the things that I started doing was beating the sun up every morning. I'm gonna beat that sun up every morning so that I have the discipline and the control over my life. So I knew, hey, before that thing pops, I'm gonna pop. I'm gonna get out of bed, depend on myself, get up at the same time every day. And for me, that time, regardless of where I was beat that sun up. No matter where I am, I'm gonna beat that thing up. So it gives me a sense of control over my own life. Second thing, I had to start cleaning up my life and my friends and my environment. When I was younger, between 15 and 25, I was doing crazy stuff in my life. Wasting my weekends. I have the saying, weekends are for the weak. I was drinking, fooling around with a bunch of bad things, bad people, making poor choices. At 25 years old, I cleaned it all up. Quit going to those places, quit using those things, quit hanging out with people that did not have ethics and discipline in their life, that weren't committed to the same things that I was. I wanted to build something in my life. I wanted to become someone. And to do that, to become someone in the eyes of the world, the first thing I had to do was become someone I could depend on. So put some things together, 3 or 4 things you can do every day to start the day, kickstart your day, get going in your day to give you a sense of respect for yourself, accomplishment for yourself. Look, just beating that sun up every morning gives me the sense of accomplishment that I did what I said I was gonna do, that I woke up when I said I would wake up, and I start building respect for myself, start believing in myself so that I can go out into the world and maybe today when I go into this meeting that I'm dressed for, maybe they'll believe in me as much as I believe in me, and that'll show up in a contract, a deal, maybe even some money.
Need motivation?
Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Grant Cardone, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, stay true to who you are.
It's not about getting the right answer, it's about being able to use the information in the right situation. And so you have to go into a situation knowing something's going to be stable, particularly in an environment where there's a lot of variables. And we live in an environment right now with a lot of variables, with COVID, the mask, the election coming. Who knows? There's a million different things going on out there. You cannot add another variable to that many variables. So the thing that you need to do is you have to be the stable person in an environment where there's a lot of craziness going on. I had so many people tell me, well, it depends on the situation. No, dude, you need to be the same person every time, regardless of the situation. Because if you try to change to that's the problem with this whole adapting thing. If you're gonna adapt to every situation that happens in life, you'll never become anything. Because you'll just be a chameleon 1 second, and then a tiger the next second, and then a kitty cat the next second, and then roadkill the next. You'll just become whatever is going on in the environment, and you'll never become strong, the strong you should be. And this disparity in America, particularly in America and around the world, the disparity between the people that have something and everybody else is getting bigger and bigger. If you don't like the way that is, if you don't like the way that game's working out, you need to improve your skill set so that you can go get yours for you and your family. Because it's out there. I'm just telling you, the opportunity's out there. It's whether you want to open your eyes, be conscious the whole time, go look at it, and figure out how do you get your share of the American dream.
Rule number 3, be money motivated.
Just because you're great doesn't mean you don't want money. In fact, the greater you are, the more money you're going to want. So if you want great people, I hear companies always talk about, I can't find great people, because you don't pay them anything, man. Right? So like if I offer you $700,000 right now, can you swim?
Yeah.
You any good?
I'm okay.
Yeah. So if I offer you $700,000 right now and say, hey, dude, you got to go swim after that boat and you got to catch it. Like, you're not going to worry about how cold the water is. The water's probably freezing ass cold, right? You're gonna, if you're money motivated, okay, you're gonna fly in there. But let's say I put $700,000 out there and say, whoever gets to the boat first.
Exactly. Well, what traits?
Exactly. Would you do it? Would you do it?
Probably. I think anyone in the world would do it.
I don't know.
Unless you're a billionaire and you're like,
yeah, then 700. You're not motivated by 700.
Exactly.
Right.
You'd want more than 700.
Yeah, you'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. But you know what? I know billionaires who would actually be the first people to hit the water.
Exactly.
Because they understand money. They understand, man, it's worth me paying that price to get the 700, because they know what to do with 700. A lot of people are not money motivated because they simply don't know what to do with money. Every time they get it, they actually lose it.
Rule number 4, stop being average.
One of the things that, to me, is the most difficult thing in my entire career is becoming a top producer. Because the moment you become a top producer, you become susceptible to thinking you have the life. I grew up in a little town in Louisiana, a little small town, about 60,000 people. You probably hear the accent. And I grew up in a middle class family. My dad died when I was 10 years old. My mother raised us. And my mother constantly told me how proud I should be of myself. How many of you got a mother like that? You should be so proud of yourself. okay? Every time, my mom was my best friend, and every time I would have a success, it didn't matter whether I was 18 years old or 48 years old. Anytime I had a success, she was the first person I called. I wouldn't call my girlfriend, wouldn't call my wife, wouldn't call any of the people that were closest to me. I'd call my mom and say, Mom, you'd never believe I just bought a real estate deal. I started this company. I bought my first real estate deal. It's 38 units. It's $4 million. And she'd be like, that's awesome. I love you just the way you are. And I'm like, okay, thanks. She told me that 1,000 times. How many of you had a parent tell you, I love you? That's great. You made 160 grand last year. But I love you just the way you are. How many hear that? Okay, that's right out of the 10X rule. I don't know if you know that. That's right out of the 4 actions. Anybody know what action it is? Average. I'm doing well. Okay? There's 4 levels of action. Number 1 is I do nothing. If I rewrote this book, I would take that out. That's actually impossible. To do nothing at all is impossible. Try doing it right now. To do nothing means you had to make a decision to do something and not do it. This is actually not true. I wouldn't put it in the book if I rewrote it. The second level of action is to retreat. This is what most people do, by the way. How many had a commitment to work out today and didn't? Okay, I was up late. Whatever. You came up with whatever reason, I'm going to make the call. By the way, any retreat in life, any single retreat is a discipline and a commitment to retreat when it matters. So every time you make a decision, you just need to be aware that what are you doing here? Okay, there's only 4 things you can do in any given day, right? You could do nothing, you could retreat, or you could do this, average. Now I know you guys are being told that you're the top. You're the top. You're the best. You made it to Miami. But I'm just going to tell you right now, ain't not a person in this room is above number 3. No, I'm not there. Okay, and I know how much I'm grinding every day, how much I'm pushing every day, how many hours I put into a day. What's the maximum number of hours you can do in a day? Not if you add people. If you added people, you got to think beyond the 24th thing. Once you guys get committed, then you will come up with solutions outside the physical universe. Okay, you're already doing that. Your space is bizarre. Okay, here there's a bunch of people in the room that like I don't know anything about technology. I'm 61 years old. I was born in 1958. I am supposed to be outside of that moment of technology. Yet I'm probably one of the top 5 social media people in the world today. Banging on Instagram and Snapchat and LinkedIn and Google Plus that'll go away. Using all these mechanisms to try to get attention so that I can operate at this level 10X thing, this massive level that is always changing, by the way. You can't 10X something. People are like, man, I'd write the book. If I wrote the book, I'd write it 11X. I'm like, that's because you don't understand 10X, dude. 10X is a multiplier. It's 10X, which is 100. Okay? So what I did when Lehman collapsed, I wrote the 10X rule. And I wrote the book because I realized I had done something wrong. That book was written for me. And the reason, when I closed the book, the reason I was like, whatever, I had figured out what I had done wrong, okay? I had to embrace the idea that $3 or $4 million in a bank and a house paid for and 2 cars and a marriage, and I got it better than everybody else. And my mama loves me just the way I am, was all this middle class, this American, particularly here in America. How many of you live in America? Okay, in America, the middle class, it is the sleeping chamber on planet Earth. Okay, people come here. They come from India and China, come to here to get a middle class. Dude, I don't want anything to do with this. Okay, you're middle class, you will not change the world. You might change your house. You might change the education your little kids get. Okay, they get to go to Texas A&M, big deal, right? He told me that he went to Texas. I said, oh, that had to screw you up bad, just going to college. Why? Because what do they manufacture in college? They manufacture average people at college. So I want to challenge you today, okay? I want to challenge you today to start thinking, hey, wait a minute, am I even a top producer?
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, grow your money.
3 things you got to know about money, and the same 3 rules hold true for attention. Number 1, you got to get it. You don't need to make it. It's already been made. There's trillions and trillions of dollars. There's more money on this planet than there are iPhones, okay? Endless supply. Okay, it's garbage, by the way. You need to understand it's garbage. Once I get it, the thing to do is once I get it, now I don't want to lose it. How do I not lose it? I take it and I convert it to something more valuable than money. So as fast as I can, I'm going to take this cash that I earned. I don't spend it ever. Never spend this money. No matter how big the bag is, I take the entire earned bag and I dump it into something that will produce passive income for me. The only thing I ever spend is the $100 that comes out of the building, not the bag that I earned because of my talent. I take my talents, I get paid for them, I shift it into the building, the money goes away. Money can't be lost now. It's been converted to concrete, glass, steel, tenants, leases, real property, okay? It goes up in value over time. This gets destroyed over time. It can get burnt, it can get torn, it can get lost, it can get stolen. So I want to get rid of this illiquid. I want to get illiquid in the building, convert it to something real, and then I want to wait. When I get paid passive income, this passive income is not taxed. It's only taxed, it's taxed up a small, tiny percentage of what earned income is. So I keep most of it, and this is how I live. I live off of this money. And I could spend all of this, or I could take this and start investing in more buildings.
The way you talk,
so get it, keep it. Number 2, you got to keep it. How do I keep it? I don't save it at the bank. When you put it at the bank is going to tax it. Cash is taxed. All cash is taxed. Okay, cash is not king. Cash flow is king. So what you want is you want this. You want passive income. And the third thing you want to do is you want to figure out how it can multiply. That building will multiply over time. There's nobody that's going to tell me that building will not be more money. Right location, like the cities we're buying in, Austin, Houston, Dallas, Orlando, Tampa, the Carolinas, Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, freaking on fire, Savannah, Georgia, anything in the smiley part of the United States where New York, when they came out last night and said, hey, we're mandating, I got calls from 3 buddies. I'm done with New York. I thought they were going to change. They're not. New York is going to feed that building. 20% of our tenants right now are from New York City. 10% are from California, moving from LA all the way over to Miami. So people are tired of the bullshit, man. And when they're tired of that, what they do is they move. And when they move, they rent first. They don't buy first.
Rule number 6, get attention.
You better get excited now, because if you're not going to get excited now, nobody will give you this money. Nobody will give you this money. Money follows attention. How much attention can I get in the marketplace is where money goes. Money does not go to the best product, ever. Money does not go to the best product. Money does not go to the happiest place either. Money goes to where attention goes. Whoever gets the most attention gets the most money. Action, massive action, has always worked. It's proven itself for thousands of years. This is not a new concept. You show me somebody, and we know their name, anybody in the room, any famous person that you can think of. Anybody that we would both know. You say, I'm going to mention their name, and Grant will know who that is. Give me a name of one person. Tiger Woods. Massive action. Persistent, massive action. Okay? Okay, how many people were watching the Open yesterday? Yeah, exactly. Why? Because Tiger was in it.
Attention. Money follows attention. Money follows attention. How much attention can you get? Even bad attention. Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. What Tiger went through in the last decade helped him. You got more white people pulling for Tiger Woods, right? They're like, Tiger, grown white man, Tiger. And we say there's division in this country. Tiger, I love Tiger, right? Why? Because they love a comeback, man. The guy got a lot of attention. Okay, who else? Give me another name. Oh my God, I didn't know it was gonna be this kind of meeting. If I'd have known it was gonna be this kind of meeting, I'd charge you double. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Everybody knows him, okay? Money follows attention. Success and power follow attention. Okay, you can not like the guy, but could you handle that much heat every day? Could you handle that many people not liking you every day? Because if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to be a real leader, okay, if you're going to be at the top of the food chain kind of leader, people aren't going to like you.
Rule number 7, understand how money works.
Money's garbage. It's garbage. It's not really what you want because it gets taxed heavily. So, and this is another thing, the ball players don't understand this. Most of the middle class doesn't understand it. The guy making 50 racks a year doesn't. The guy making 500 racks a year doesn't understand it. The guy working at Facebook doesn't understand. He knows how to code. He don't know how to beat the tax man. And the way to beat the tax man is with real estate. It is the last venue where, and I'm not talking about a house. I'm talking about buying, like this piece of real estate right behind me right there. That piece of real estate is $260 million. Now, I didn't start with that. My first deal was a $3 million deal. I made $5 million on it. One deal. And paid no taxes. And when I did that first deal, man, I put 350 grand down. I borrowed it from my mom and a brother. And I turned 350 grand into $5 million and didn't have to go through the bullshit that I was going through every single day. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a game, man. When I went to file my taxes, the guy showed me how not to pay taxes on it. I'm like, okay, I'm good. And I've been doing that. I now have $4 billion worth of real estate. I started with 300 grand, borrowed money. I got $4 billion. This deal right here is $250 million. And what I've learned over the last 25 years is this game is it's a rigged game and it's on stack. It's all stacked against the little guy and the middle guy. And so what I decided to do was I promised my mom when I was 15 years old, Dorian, I said, if I ever make it, I'm gonna help the little guy out. Because I grew up with a single mother, 5 kids. She was freaking frightened all that. She never got a shot at that stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, if my family got to buy a house that you got to pay for, if we could buy a house and pay it off, that was freaking that was the American dream. That ain't a dream, bro. That's prison. That right there behind me, cash flow day 1, trophy asset, appreciation 2 and 3 and 4 times. Most of this real estate's been doubling every decade. Trophy, institutional quality, great write-offs. Everything the wealthy look for in an investment. So I'm buying this deal and then I open it up to my friends and followers on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. $1,000 with $1,000, you can partner with me in that deal. And it's important for everybody to know, like, oh my God, this guy's going to raise money from everybody. I could have gotten one company, one bank would have given me the entire amount of money that I'm raising for my friends. One bank said, hey, I'll give you I'll give you all the money for the deal. And you be the partner in the deal, Grant, you run the deal, we'll be the money. And I didn't take the money because I want my friends, my followers, the people on this, I want to give people a shot. So, because you're easier to deal with, Dorian, I'd rather you be my partner in the deal than Bank of America.
Rule number 8, take action right now.
What you become is what you will be. Most people are sitting in the student chair too long. You're learning. You like learning, studying, reading, trying to get information. Dude, the way to trick the system is to become something as fast as possible. Don't keep learning. Buy something. This is the easiest, simplest way for somebody to become an investor. I did the deal. I bought the deal with my money, did the research with my money, my time, my energy, my 30 years. I used my cred with the banks and the real estate community to get the deal. That deal is $260 million. Your entire audience could not buy that deal by itself, even if it had the money, because it doesn't have the connection.
Yep.
So I'm buying the deal with my money and my debt. Then once I buy it and close it, I've taken all this risk out. Because once I buy it and close it, then I offer it up to my audience and say, same price that I paid, you can get in at. $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever number you're comfortable with. So what happens is, one, your money's protected against inflation and deflation, okay, against the disruption and destruction of the dollar, which is what's happening right now, is they are purposely destroying the dollar. The very thing they told you for the last 30 years you should save and you should trade your most valuable asset for, they are now destroying the very thing that you've been saving. And they're penalizing you for having it because they pay you nothing to keep it. Understand that $1,000, and I'm going to answer your whole question here. Understand that $1,000 today at Bank of America or Wells Fargo, let me see, $1,000 today times pays $1.20.
Bullshit.
Let me see. Yeah, that's $1.20 any way I do it.
Crazy.
Okay. Now, that's before you bought your checks. That's before you started the checking account. That's before you used the ATM. By the time the end of the year is, your $1,000 probably more like $920. Probably cost you $80 just to have a checking account. So number one, you become an investor. Number two, you get cash flow every quarter. Number three, I expect that building to be a double or a triple. So I'm paying $260 for the building. If I sell it for $340, we make a double. I think the building's going to sell for $500 million when I sell it. The location's ridiculous. Can't replace it. It's 99% occupied right now. It's a trophy quality asset. It's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, one of the hottest markets in the country. And when I sell this, I will be selling it to an institution. And the reason that's important is because most of us that are earning $50 a night, you have to buy the leftovers, man. You know, we're buying leftovers. We're buying the garbage in the community, the duplex, the single family home. These are the same homes that went back to the banks in 2010. And you don't want to be in that stuff. What you want to be is the trophy stuff that somebody always finds value in.
Yep.
So I think the return is 5 to 6% in the first year, paid out quarterly. We pass through the depreciation to you, so you won't be paying taxes for the first couple of years on your income. And I think you get a double or a triple off your money. So if you put in 10 grand, I think you're looking at your money being 20 or 30,000 over the next 5, 6, 7 years.
Rule number 9, invest in people.
When you go to a new land, a new place, or a new planet, you have to make investments in the environment and hope that, hey, if I keep doing this, if I keep making these deposits, whether it's me going to the gym, I don't know if the gym worked for me this morning. I know if I can stack up enough gym visits, if I go to church enough, hey man, maybe some of it will rub off on me. I'll become a good guy one day, okay? If I make enough investments in people and human beings and talking to people, we were out here shooting some video today and I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? How you guys doing? How you guys? The only reason I'm doing that is to make investments in people. Because if I do that often enough, I'm practicing extroverting myself to communicate to people. Because everything that I want, everything that's going to be good in my life is going to come through other people. It's not going to come because I sat in a room by myself. It's going to come my wife and I and Michael, and we went out into the marketplace and actually moved some people around. Like you're coming to my event now, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, exactly. See?
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is start small, think big.
I want my employees to stay broke. I don't want employees sitting with cash. Cash means Porsches. And Porsches mean he's going to be in trouble. Every person I've ever seen work for me that does this stuff, before they get their investments right, they go buy junk, H belts, big watches. They can't afford the new one, a real Hublot, so they go buy a big, $80 watch. Dude, when you start seeing indicators of that, people start playing all that stuff. They're doing bottle service over at Live on the weekends, acting like free money will end up at Live. So, Steve, when you came to work for me, how much money were you making?
$3,000 a month.
$3,000 a month, okay? You can't live on $3,000 a month in Miami. Every day we would tell them, you cannot live on $3,000 a month in Miami. It's impossible. Just tell them. So it's impossible. So tell people the truth. Is it the truth? Can you live on $3,000 in any city in America? Not without fear. You can live on it, but not without fear. And that's what you need to tell your people, folks. You need to leave here if you want your people all on the same page. How many like to have everybody highly motivated? Say yay. How many like to have everybody around you really engaged? How many of you like to be surrounded by friends that are actually talking about, hey, let's all do better, rather than make sense of how they're doing? Okay? How many of you like to pay for the fuel in my plane for us to go someplace? But you can't. And that's a damn shame. Okay? Like that should be your goal. Hey, I want Grant to pick me up. Are you going to pick me up in your plane? Like, think that big, folks. Think that big. Get people around you thinking that big, all right? When you go to dinner, don't worry about, hey guys, okay, let's all throw the card in. Really? You should be fighting to pay for the bill. The money's out there. It's not your money. It's this. It's this.